Now we start with U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has urged Europeans to avoid reflexive anger and instead sit down with U.S. President Donald Trump to hear his arguments about acquiring Greenland. Speaking ahead of Trump's arrival at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Bessent has suggested that European leaders take a moment to listen to Trump's perspective before reacting. This statement comes amid rising tensions over Trump's repeated threats to seize Greenland, which is part of Denmark. European leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, have strongly condemned Trump's move, calling it new colonialism. Macron and others have criticized the aggressivity of Trump's tariffs, which he threatened to impose on countries opposing his Greenland plans. Now, for this discussion, we welcome Mr. Collins Chong-Yu-Keith. He's a Foreign Affairs, Security and Strategy Analyst, joins us live from Kuala Lumpur. Thank you very much, Mr. Collins, for joining us. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Now, looking at this, as tensions escalate, what do you think could be next, and how patient do you think that the European leaders who have opposed the idea and who many statements, strong statements indeed, that has come out of Europe, do you see do you see Scott Bessent's statements of, just hear Trump out, do you think that could make any difference now?
Well, certainly it won't make much of a difference. We've seen how this is, President Trump has stated this repeatedly, even during the first term, and we have seen how this is important, this is crucial, especially for this timeline. We have seen decades of inaction, decades of inadequacy in terms of the efforts being taken by Denmark and other European powers to safeguard Greenland, and that also this is about the inability of Europe to present and to portray capable deterrence to China and to Russia in the Arctic, especially in Greenland. So for years now, for decades now, they have not been able to do that. But once President Trump has stated that those era is now over, and and now they are all out in arms in terms of this presenting this unified front against President Trump. So this backlash, these responses, this frustration, this anger are all understandable. But from the bigger point of view, this is needed to ensure their security also. And they have to remember that for decades now, their security, meaning the security and safety of Europe, of Denmark, of course, all European powers, lies squarely on the security assurance and security umbrella of the US. And if Greenland is not being part of that equation, of course, it's not a full power safety net for the US, and this will also have profound implications for Europe as a whole. So of course, one way or the other, as President Trump has stated, this will be profound, this will be extremely crucial for the US, also for Europe, and that this outbursts of anger, of frustrations are understandable in this initial timeline, but I don't see that to be the ultimate obstacles for President Trump to double down on his intent. And I foresee that for this year, moves will be made either through diplomacy and through negotiations, or if all this failed, then of course all options are on the card for President Trump. And despite all these protests and this tit-for-tat moves in terms of tariff measures, as I've stated, the economic resilience of the US and the capacity of President Trump to impose the tariff card is they're all unmatched, and it's a futile effort from Europe to be engaged in this kind of tit-for-tat move, as this will only weaken Europe. This will invite greater Chinese overtures, in the sphere of Europe. So as I've stated, they have to be in line with what President Trump has, with strategic brilliance to have this kind of intent to keep Greenland under the control of the US.
And how do you think, how can European countries protect this Denmark under Greenland under Denmark, as they vocally say that they are supporting the sovereignty of Greenland under Denmark? So do they have any cards to play here?
Well, as I've stated, they do not have the hard power capacity to defend Greenland, and of course they have stated repeatedly that because they are very much confined to the rules-based order, the rules-based mechanism, the structural, mechanism of Europe as a whole to deploy these tools of the need to respect the norms and international law. And then all these have eventually failed to protect the security of Europe, as we have seen now in the case of Ukraine, in the case of increased power presence by Russia and China in the Arctic. So to rely solely on the basis of tools, mechanism, norms, those have been proven to be futile. And as President Trump has stated that the security of the United States and the security of Europe lie very much on the security and control of Greenland. So if Denmark and other European countries continue to double down on this approach to oppose President Trump's move over Greenland, this will be a backfiring move. They are shooting themselves in the foot, and this will open up further openings for Russia and China to tear up this Western division, this Western unity. Of course, they've done so now, and of course the openings have been created in terms of sowing these divisions. And we've seen how the statement by Macron to have more Chinese investments and Chinese presence in certain areas, certain sectors. And of course, this is again, is for their own security in the future, and they have failed to do that. And now is the time to ensure that the capable power is given the responsibility to safeguard this important, important geographical area in Greenland for the betterment of both parties.
Thank you for highlighting that, and please stay with us, Mr. Keith, and for the next news. We have a breaking news.